I'm Kimberly Davis with Keller Williams Realty, and today I'm here with our head agent who's been with us for over 10 years, Kristi Flaningan. And Kristi and Jason, that's also going to be here today, that you're going to meet, are going to be talking to you about some great things that are super important. And why we're doing that is because we believe in focusing on some of our mission, and that is making sure that we're focusing on authenticity and being rooted into just giving out wisdom, right, and knowledge. So it's so important to have conversations, and so I'm excited to see that you guys get to hear from Kristi and Jason about the market, and this is an exciting detail that's going to help make an impact in your life.
Jason, thanks for being here today. I appreciate you coming by.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Jason, one of the things that I absolutely have to ask you is, how did we get here from where we started with rates?
Yeah, so I would say where we are at this moment, after the last year or so, we peaked in the high sevens as far as interest rates go. And what we've been able to do, what we've seen, some relief into the low sixes as of this morning. So that's roughly about an 11 to 12 month low since we were at those high sevens. That's more of the rate landscape. The buyer's landscape, what we're seeing is more listings, slightly better affordability after giving buyers more negotiating power with some lower rates. Yeah. And then what we're seeing in the market as far as like the sentiment there, both buyers and realtors are feeling, they're cautiously optimistic. We don't really know what's on the horizon. Tariffs are a big play in that as well. Yeah. People are getting a sense that we're starting to get to a turning point, which is a good thing for us. We've seen some nice downturn in the rates over the past, I would say, month and a half.
No. And I heard too, we know in our industry, employment has a lot to do with some of this as well. I've heard some talk about possibly the rates going down to even 4%. What do you think about that?
I would say that's probably not likely, with my professional opinion. So if we look at how we got to where we are right now, because we talked about where we are now, but how did we get here? So it's basically an inflation fight. That's what it's done. So the Fed raised rates aggressively in 2022 and 23 to bring inflation under control. And then the mortgage rates followed that. And that uncertainty has just widened and strengthened. And now we're starting to see that turn. But it just made those rates even higher because of that. And then the confidence returning that as inflation has cooled, we're seeing some of the recession fears go away. Yeah. And investors are willing to accept more products and lower the rates.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah. I definitely have seen, from my perspective, working with buyers and sellers, but specifically if we're talking about buyers, it seems like the new construction has really helped out with a lot of the incentives that new construction has provided with the lower rates, with the seller concessions and getting money back. I think I've seen a lot of uptick when it comes to the confidence just being a little bit better than what it was at the beginning of the year. I don't know, speak about that, if you don't mind, about what you're seeing as far as the loan applications and what are they. I know that a lot of people are interested in not just what they can afford, but what their monthly payment is also.
Yeah, a lot of folks say, I don't really care what the rate is, just tell me where my monthly payment is. And I completely agree with that. When it comes to, we're shifting into a buyer's market. And we've been waiting for that for quite some time. Right. And those rates are part of it. But the other thing too is just we're starting to get a little bit more inventory.
Yeah.
And especially in the homes that are sitting from the construction. And those guys are getting nervous because they've got to get those homes on people. So they are offering some pretty crazy incentives.
Yeah.
And there's still ways to do that and still work with a local lender without working with their lender. But you just have to get real creative with that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the seller concessions and the rate buy downs and things of that nature, that's a product of the buyer's market because people are needing to move these homes. And that's even falling into the existing home sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're able to negotiate more on the buyer's behalf, whether let's take a little bit of the lower purchase price, or one of my favorite things to do is don't take the lower purchase price. Whatever they were going to lower it, just stick that on the seller concession.
Yeah.
And then that way you can pay off for closing price or buy your rate down or a combination of both.
And I personally saw that working with you. When I bought my third property, I was able to, I knew it was the Amazon Prime. That's what I told my clients, the Amazon Prime of real estate right now, because there are so many negotiations. But I took my own advice and worked with you and was able to get my property with massive seller concessions and even got a great appraisal. Yeah, I'm seeing it for sure with our clients.
Yeah, so hopefully I answered all your questions on that part of it.
Yeah, what do you think is on the horizon? What do you think we have to look forward to?
I think we have some good news here. Now, again, we still have to be careful with inflation and the tariffs, how that's going to affect spending, and that the jobs numbers, talking about unemployment, that is going to be a big driver. We're seeing those numbers get worse and worse month to month. And with these corrections that they're doing with some of these jobs numbers, they overcalculated this last announcement on almost 1 million jobs.
God, I heard that.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a big crazy amount. It was like something like almost 80,000 public points.
Wow.
It's just crazy amount of jobs. So with that being the case, with people having a harder time finding a job or getting a job after they've lost a job, we are seeing that the rates are hitting up.
Yeah.
And so what's on the horizon? It looks to see that the Fed is going to cut the rates next week, and that could be one of three rate cuts still for this year. So that is going to be helpful. And we've already seen that with some of where the rates have been over the last week or so. It's because we have a feeling that they're going to cut. Now it's how much are they going to cut?
Yeah,
and that's when you're seeing the rates come down a bit.
we've definitely seen an uptick with our open houses and with our activity. Do you have an idea? What are lenders hearing as far as how much of a can we expect? Maybe 40%? Can they expect? What are you guys hearing?
Yeah, so they're probably going to cut a quarter. If they're aggressive, they'll cut 50. And then again, we just have to be careful. Is that going to be viewed as a pin, or is that going to be viewed to spur the economy? Because one of the last times we had a major rate cut, I think it was 50 basis points, we saw rates take up for a bit. It was the unders, and that was when this is outside the normal of what we see. But we do anticipate at least a quarter that they do get aggressive and do that 50. We think this time around they could give us another bump down in rates. And we could definitely be close to the high fives. Probably.
Wonderful.
Which would be fantastic.
So my last question for you are, what are rates teetering on today, as of today, September 12th?
Yeah, so today they're around 6.25 on 30-year conventional, and then we're sitting probably about 5.99 or 5 7/8 on the government and VA on the pension.
Beautiful.
One of the questions you asked me a minute ago was how are applications and things like that. So we saw an uptick this last week in 5% in applications. So not only are people getting out there looking at new homes, either new or existing homes, but the refinances are picking up as well, just because of these last few years of people getting into the high sevens.
Yeah.
Now they can refinance instead of a 1.5.
Yeah.
Things like that off there.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Good news. Good news for everyone.
Yes. I would say one of the things that's with that good news is how do we gear up for this good news?
Yeah.
Because if we're standing flat-footed, we're not going to be late. And these people are not on our dollars. So some of the things I would say is get our clients positioned. Client standpoint, get positioned, get your pre-approval. Let's get a mortgage planning session put together for you, show you what the rates look like today. Let's ensure that those up as we anticipate them to drop. And then that allows you, once you have your pre-approval done, when you do find that home, you can strike quickly.
That's right.
It's not one of those things that, okay, now we go at the letter, out of the go.
Right.
You just want to make sure that you're prepping for that. Do you want to talk about your refinance, your float down strategies for these rates? If I get the home I want today, I win. I'm going to know at that point, that's the highest rate I'm ever going to pay on my loan because I'm not going to touch it unless I refinance. Right. So there's your refinance strategy. And then if you have a situation where you lock, rate structure dramatically between the time you lock and you close, and we can look for a renegotiation or a float down, and then it'll let you take advantage of rates that are left on the day.
Yeah.
Just know the numbers. I'll put together a total savings analysis for every client, and a Zoom or face-to-face with every client.
Yep.
And we talked about just not what you qualify for, but what is the smartest long-term play with your financing.
Yeah.
Building generational wealth.
Wow. You did that for me.
Absolutely.
And we got on Zoom and you explained everything to me, and it was very descriptive and very thorough, and so absolutely.
Yeah, and what's it for you guys, for realtors? Educate the clients on the opportunity. Inventory plus lower rates equals better negotiating power.
Yep.
And then when it comes to the frenzy, you guys are going to be ready. We talk about this a lot. When clients say, is it time to buy right now? Get ahead of the frenzy.
Fair.
So that's how it's positioned as a realtor. Leverage your lender partner as well. Use me. Let's talk about all those weekly updates, the strategy calls, things of that nature. And from my standpoint, it's really just guide through the noise. I want to make sure that my role is to interpret headlines, separate the facts from the hype, and then build strategies for the client's goals.
Yeah.
Be proactive. Watch the market updates. Make sure that we're touching base with you guys every week to show you what's going on in the market. Is there and losing and gaining?
Right.
Put those strategies together and just consistently educate.
Yeah.
That's what my job is. I'm just making sure that our clients and you guys know what's behind the why, that why we're doing. So like a minute ago, when it comes to clients coming up and saying, when you refer somebody over, should I buy now or should I wait for the rates to drop? Is the time to buy now?
Yeah.
I have my own opinion on that, but what do you think about that?
I absolutely think it's the right time to buy now. And like I've been saying, it's kind of all summer long. And I think really helping the buyer understand why it's so important to buy now, because next week is when he speaks, Firm House speaks, right? And so what you don't want to do is be in the mix with everybody else wanting to now all of a sudden call Jason, get a pre-approval, and now next thing you know, the house that they wanted is already gone. We're already seeing a little bit of an uptick with that. Houses, yes, they're sitting on the market a little bit longer, but it doesn't mean it's a guarantee that it's going to stay on the market just because now the rates are going to be dropping. We have seen so many people this last year that have just decided, I'm going to wait for it to, they're trying to time the market, make sure it's the right time to buy and the rates are low. But that is a poor strategy, in my opinion, because when you wait till everybody else goes in, then you end up losing out. It's like Black Friday when, everybody wants to wait for that TV to drop and there's a line out the store and now everybody's running to go get the TV and you get there and now everything's off the shelf. That's exactly what this is like. So I need to tell everybody, don't wait. Go out and let's go find the home. Let's have the seller concessions. Let's have the negotiations. Let's have that strategy so that when it's time to refi and the rates do drop, they're in a way better position.
Listen, I totally agree with you on that aspect of your face. Get off the fence before everybody else.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're not driving the cost of the home up by having to negotiate with them. It's a ton of offers. Tell me a couple of ways that you've seen how waiting costs someone more rather than buying now.
It's just like what you said, if everybody goes out and they want this house and they're all, now what happens from a listing agent's perspective is that once you get an offer and then you know an agent that says, hey, we love your house, we're going to also be submitting an offer. Now that seller has ammunition. Now that seller is getting excited because now you've got 2 offers there, it's coming in. Then you have another open house that weekend and now there's more offers. Now all of a sudden, now you're starting to compete with more people, and that's what you want to avoid because that's what drives everything up. So staying out of a multiple offer situation is what every buyer's objection should be to avoid.
Right. Yeah. I would say one thing too, in my experience. So for that time that you're waiting, you're still paying rent, so your landlord's fee richer. As opposed to you pay your mortgage in equity, which helps your generational wealth. And then when a home appreciates, you own it. That's more wealth. So I think there's like a threefold thing that you're really getting hit with any wealth all across the board. Someone else is.
That's right.
And you missed out on the home at the end of the day as well.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. He's very good. That's very insightful, and I think that we're in complete agreement with, hey, get off the fence, get your pre-approval letter, make sure what you can do, and then when the time is right, our pre-approval is as strong as a cash offer.
Yeah.
So when you go out there and make that offer, we're going to know that the local lender, that's going to have to wait and get your offer accepted.
Also, one thing in working with you that I've seen with my clients over and over is that you are always accessible to talk to that listing agent about how qualified this buyer is. A lot of times when I've been in situations where you can't find the lender, it's a Saturday, it's a Sunday, that's when we're making offers, and we can't verify, hey, is this pre-approval? What is the comfort level with this? How strong? What is the strength of this approval letter? And you can't find the lender. One thing that's so great is that you're always available, so that absolutely helps me out as the buyer and buyer agent side of things to make my client look like they are financially stable. They're strong. Yeah.
I definitely pride myself in always picking up the phone. That definitely helps out in the situations where if haven't already called the listing agent, they call me, but I didn't get the same information. So that's the question.
Yeah. Jason, I appreciate you coming by. Thank you so much for stopping in and giving us all this information, good information. I really think that it's going to benefit a lot of people who are on the fence. It was really good information, so thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I really enjoyed working with Jason. We've been working with him for a long time now, and he really provides a lot of good information for our clients. He's absolutely very patient. He does take this time to explain all of things that are important, things like that. And I am really excited for what our audience has to hear, what he has to say about the market, because it's very informative. I'm excited about that.
With our organization, we're very passionate about winning and being able to provide value for our clientele, whether you're buying real estate or selling your real estate. So talking to our agents, you're going to find well, informative, educated agents on our team that spend the time to find out what's important to you and then take the tactics that they are experienced to use, combine 25 years of experience to be able to go and win for our clients. So we're looking forward to hearing from you to be able to meet your real estate needs.